Hello Libra, and welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for the month of July, and always great to see you, but this month I'm especially excited to look at each sign because I'm putting a special focus on where you can have a breakthrough or where you can shift your energy for this month. Where I found that a lot of this comes through is either in the channeled message or the catalyst card. So today, as we're focusing on those two, I'll look at that, and by the time we get into the main Celtic cross, we'll be able to ascertain what your breakthrough moment is for the month. Let's talk a little bit about how I structure this and how everything is organized. First and foremost, you can always use this for your sun, rising, and moon sign, and you can also watch on a loved one's behalf. Now, if you don't happen to know all of those things, the sun, rising, and moon, then just stick with the sign that you were born under, and you'll get more than enough information by doing just that. If anybody is a returning viewer, I'd like to say welcome back. It's your love, your support, and the work that you do on yourself that really makes it exciting and worth my while to come back each month, so thank you so much. I'd also like to extend a nice and warm welcome to everybody that is brand new, and I'll give you an introduction as well. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the way that I structure this reading is I like to start off with some channeled information where I'm just using my raw intuition. Then I look at a full Celtic cross that includes all the highs and the lows and a special card that I call the catalyst that connects everything. And then I like to extend it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny so that we're very sure that we can hit all of the main areas that I know all of you care about each and every month. If after watching everything today you really enjoy what you see, please stick around until the end. At that point, I'll go into a lot of detail on how you can make a difference in the channel. And that's not just liking and subscribing. It also includes booking an appointment, doing a contribution, and joining me on social media. So with all of that being said, let's get straight into the reading, and we will talk now about your channeled message for the month of July. This month, as I selected a deck of cards and began to meditate over your sign, two images came to mind. The first was a maze, and from what I could feel, and as I was kind of focusing on it, it was as if I was going through it, but almost blind. It was like feeling your way through. And the second thing that I felt was, it's kind of like Neo in the Matrix where he just went up in the sky. I was able to pull myself above this perceived maze or distraction, and I realized that it wasn't about kind of going from start to finish or trying to find a shortcut. There was another path altogether that I could follow. But what I had to do was gain or regain my perspective and then alter course and realize that I needed to sort of not follow the traditional path that everyone would follow or that was expected. So what I wrote down was regain or even gain perspective. For some of us, it might be even shift perspective. And what happens sometimes in life, it's kind of like if there's grass and it's overgrown and you're in the middle of the forest and there's all this brush, or even if you've ever seen a farm where there's corn and it's grown really, really high, you can't see through everything. And so you have to get to a point where there's a clearing and you can understand the lay of the land. This is an interesting month for you because this will be part one of your sort of breakthrough. You have perceived barriers, but it's because I feel like you are so focused on trying to solve something like a maze. And if you've ever looked at a maze, sometimes you have to stand back and sort of trace it out with your eyes. Instead of maybe trying to take a pen and trace your way through, sometimes it's important to just look around a little bit before you get started. And I think that's what's really going to benefit you this month. Explore all possible opportunities and routes that are in front of you before kind of diving straight in. So meditation is going to be really essential. Just talking to someone could also be a way to get that perspective. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it's really effective for me to just hop on the phone or text a friend or even write something out, because as I'm starting to articulate, then I find my way mentally and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I was trying to do. And I talk about this sometimes, but when I'm not doing readings and when I'm not doing the videos, I'm a writer. And one of the most important things in writing is distance and perspective. So sometimes I'll write something and then I have to put it aside. And while I'm not working on it, I will be able to see or get another idea for either how to adjust it or perhaps a completely different direction that I can take it into. And because I know that that piece of writing isn't going to go anywhere, I can always revert to a previous version if I need to, I have the freedom to try without fear of failure. Well, life is kind of the same way. Yeah, we might make a mistake, or maybe we decide we go down this path and it wasn't exactly what we thought it would be, but we shouldn't let that fear of effort or failure hold us back, because oftentimes it is easier to just try another direction or let something go. You can still take bits and pieces from what you did, but it will be rechristened and have like this new genesis if you allow for an alternate point of view. And opening your mind, taking risk, failing a little bit, and learning from that failure is going to be so essential to your success this month. So don't feel like you have to be committed to any one path, and also don't lose your big picture for what you're trying to do. And I think that's another piece of this that I'd like to kind of highlight before we move on to the Celtic Cross. So sometimes we just forget exactly why we're doing something, because if it's, again, it could be a creative project. Maybe you've been working on it so long that you don't understand what was it again that I was trying to do with this. It can be a relationship where, you know, you've had your ups, your downs, your trials, your tribulations, and you have to remind yourself, yeah, I really do love this person, and this is why I love them, and all this other stuff was just things that we went through, and we need to get back to that core of the relationship. So you need to kind of center yourself, regain perspective, and then you can make a decision on either, oh yeah, I got distracted and now I'm back on the path, or I'm ready to just try something completely left of center, and you may find that this is an innovation or some sort of great development because you were able to just shift and move and come out of that maze. The maze could have been something that you created yourself. Unnecessary levels of complication. This month, I want this to be your mantra. It's easier than I think, or it could be easier than I think. It could happen faster than I imagine. If you start to hold those ideals and those sort of thoughts in your energy, then lo and behold, you're going to attract situations and opportunities that may be easier, that may go faster, and that may be a lot more rewarding than what you've been experiencing previously. All right, this is a great time now to shift into the Celtic Cross. At this point, I'm going to remain quiet. I like to watch all the cards fall just like you, and I get additional information as I look at the cards and touch each card, laying it out in that Celtic Cross. Don't worry, afterwards we're going to pull each and every card up and talk about how it relates to you and the month ahead. So as I looked at your catalyst this month, I got the feeling of like a time warp or sort of distortions coming through with time. The cheetah card, which is normally something that shows speed, has been reversed. Yet I still look at it and I see a lot of sort of motion happening in your life. Even a cheetah has a hard time slowing down. So if we could take this into a couple of pieces, the first general message would be that patience, although difficult, is going to be your best friend this month. You don't want to get ahead of yourself, or if there's a sort of social situation or a business engagement, you don't want to come across as being too persistent, too needy, too hopeful. You want to try to stay in the middle and trust that everything is happening at the speed it should happen, or it may surprise you and pick up midstream at the middle of the month. So I just want you to sort of think, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to trust that this is going to work. And take a deep breath and don't get ahead of yourself. That's really what that is showing. The flip side of this is that things could actually come through your life this month and require a sort of split decision. And then you'll have to pick up the speed and the pace and kind of adjust without any warning. This can be very fun. It's good to sometimes be on your feet, but that's what I see with the cheetah is constant motion, sometimes having to be agile, and there'll be periods that might be accentuated where you're waiting and other periods where you're kind of running to catch up. So try to enjoy that if you can, because at the very least it's going to keep this month interesting. And if you can sort of release your assumptions around speed, then not only may you be pleasantly surprised, but you'll probably actually speed up things, and you'll notice that that perceived block, that maze that I was seeing in the channeled information, was just an illusion. It was something that you constructed, and just like the Matrix, you can also release that. So that's really what this month allows you to do, is to reconstruct your reality, to kind of warp speed to work around you. And this is your breakthrough this month, is that it's going to be easier, the speed can be adjusted, and you're going to be able to handle anything that comes your way. This is a great segue into looking at the cards, so let's now look at the Celtic Cross. Your first card is the Nine of Vessels, or the Nine of Cups, and it is reversed, but let me turn it upright so you can see the illustration. We have a very Zen character at the center here. Normally you'll see a man and he's sort of overdone things. You can tell that he's either had too much to drink, had too much to eat, or gone to some extreme. In this one, it's about actually taking pleasure in all of the positive energy that's around you. It's about giving gratitude. And you'll notice that the caption on this one actually says generosity. So knowing that the more you've kind of given to the world, the more that you can receive, and looking at everything around you this month thinking, I created this, for better or for worse. All of this stuff around me is part of my creation. And I can also alter that, as we talked about earlier. So you have the ability this month, through this meditative energy that we see here, to understand that it's all something that is constructed for my benefit. I'm not going to get overly happy or overly sad about this. I'm actually able to change it and bend it around me a little bit if I need to. Meditation is absolutely your best friend this month. The Nine of Cups is saying focus on the positive, focus on what you can change. Because with Nine of Cups energy, you can go super high and you can continue to get up to that 10 of Cups, which would be bringing in good community, good friendship, love even, or you can go a little bit lower, and then that's going to distract you and take you off your path, and we don't want or need that this month. So keep it high energetically. You don't need to go into a manic state or anything like that. It's more about just thinking, I can do this, this is good, I'm happy with what's available and what's possible to me, and I really have a lot to be grateful for. The generosity piece is saying that if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts, what might be good is to give some of your time and energy to someone else. That act of giving is actually going to open up more opportunity and more abundance in your life as well. So generosity actually creates abundance. So don't be afraid to give and to share this month. It could be a great way of kind of getting out of your headspace. The card is crossed by the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is a very sort of contemplative card where you're wondering, how did I end up here? Is this what I want to be doing? Sometimes with this card, you can either latch on to a new idea, because you'll notice here, one cup is always up in the air. There's always something where you think, that's interesting. But it can also be one where if you have the blinders on, you miss it. And this is the perspective. This is where you're going to have to elevate yourself out of, perhaps for some of you, a difficult emotional sort of thing that pops up at the beginning of the month. The Nine of Cups reverse could be a little bit of disheartening news that comes through a friend or loved one or your own life. It could also be something where you just get upset because it's not happening the way you thought it should. So release the negative or lower frequency emotions and think, but wait, there's still a lot to be grateful for. And once you can elevate your mood and your energy, your perspective will be elevated as well. There's a lot of meditation sort of connotations in both of these cards. You have to, one says think a little bit more, one says don't overthink it. So you're going to have to find the happy medium between what meditation would be, which is releasing and going higher, and then this other one, which is thinking yourself into a rabbit hole. So what I want you to do this month is constantly check how much you're thinking and really try to stay in a nice even space. That's something that keeps coming through for all signs this month. You're no exception. I think that act of getting out and working with others and talking with others is going to help balance out your energy. It's also going to remind you of all the things that you can be grateful for in your life. A gratitude journal would also be something that's very effective at keeping you in a good place this month as well. As we look at your deep past, we have the King of Swords, which is basically the ultimate card that I'd want to pull for any air sign, but particularly Libra, maybe second only to Justice, which really does sum you up as well. But with the King of Swords, what this is showing me is that many of you have done something that's worthy of sharing. This could be some sort of written, spoken, or communication project because this is really the card of media. Some of you might also be litigating, and there could be something that you're bringing forward that's going to change policy or change the way we look at something. For the rest of you, it's just showing how strong your own voice has become. You may not even realize that people care about what you say. They care about what you think. This card is reminding you to really understand how to use that voice in a way that can make a difference. This is up to you. I feel like you've already done the work on this and you kind of know where you're headed, but if you want to do a little bit of thinking, this could be where the meditation could take place. How you want to make a difference, how your voice can really shift perspective. And maybe for some of you, there is something that you want to write, to sing, to compose, to paint. This usually has something to do with communication or using your hands to create something that will convey a message. So I'm excited for those of you that have decided to go on that path. This is pretty good. All right, when we're looking at recent past, and this will spill over a little bit into this month, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Look at how this one is really focusing on the healing aspects of the card. When I look at Seven of Pentacles, it can show financial recovery. It can show a healing in the body. It can also show that your perspective, something that we talked about at great length earlier, is starting to improve. That you can see things in a different way, that your mind and your consciousness is growing and expanding. For those of you that would like to expand your sort of metaphysical development or perhaps even become a healer, this card is really showing that that's where your energy and that's where your ability is starting to open up. But as a prerequisite for healing, you must heal yourself. So if there's anything that in your life you feel like you're not happy with, this could be your financial situation, it could be your own physical health, it could be the environment that you're living in, it could be just your general perspective on things, then what you want to do this month is do the work on yourself. Seek healing, whether it's Eastern medicine or Western medicine or a combination of the two, maybe some psychology as well. Get what you need in your life taken care of so that you can be a vessel that is clear. You're basically going to be a clear channel, because the Seven of Stones, much like the Magician card, is basically showing that you're only as powerful and as clear as you're allowing your body and your mind to be. So really focus on that. I really love what I see here in the crowning position. The message is to try to have some fun this month. The card is the Queen of Cups, and this is definitely tied to the heart space and to passion in your life. This is really good for social activities. This is also good for love, something that people sometimes nudge me on. They're like, when are you going to talk more about love? Well, when it's appropriate, I do, and it's appropriate this month. For many of you, this could indicate a strong water sign that's going to come into your life, possibly even surprising you, coming in when you're not wanting it, because we see this kind of going against the flow. So be open to it, don't fight it. But what I was trying to say here is that in a social atmosphere, when you're just having fun and laughing and probably not even looking around to see who's there, this is when that kind of love opportunity comes in. If you have a partner, this can show that what is necessary this month to kind of create some of the healing and the movement in the relationship would be a getaway, a date night, a couple's night. Even if you have a family, making sure that you're creating some time to be intimate and to just have some fun, because we have the Three of Cups here. We'll talk more about that in a second, but that is definitely a card of celebration, just letting your hair down and relaxing. It's going to be really important this month. It's also going to break some of the tension that I was pulling in when I was meditating at the beginning with that idea of a maze or overthinking. It can also help release some of the overthinking that can happen with the Four of Cups. If you are single and happy and you're not really worried about relationships, the other thing that this is showing is that you have a great ability this month to channel energy into creative ventures. So anything artistic, when we've got that Queen of Cups and the King of Swords, wow, that's great for channeling into writing, speaking, acting, anything that really is involving the arts, dancing as well. So don't be afraid to just do something for fun, for the sake of enjoyment. And if you are trying to do something professionally and it involves a creative field, you're set up for success from what I can see so far this month. So continue down that path. When I look in your near future, there are two main messages that come through: focus and release. Take a look at this beautiful Chariot card here. It's the Archer in this particular deck. And what I can actually feel the tension here. All of the work that some of you have done for years and years and years to build everything up. And now it's that point where you let it go. And it's that release that's so hard, right? Because sometimes you've kind of built, your whole existence around, for some of you, it could be getting into a college, getting into a job that you want to, releasing some sort of a creative project, proposing to someone, or deciding finally to follow your dream and do whatever that is. So this month, I want you to take one really big step in that direction and let the momentum take you on the journey. You've done everything that you need to get to this point. Trust that the wind is going to be in your sails and you're going to be okay. If you start to second guess yourself, then the sails kind of deflate, the tension releases and it misses its mark. So you are not going to miss your mark because you've done everything that you need to do. Let it go, focus, redirect, and then put your energy into something else this month, because everything that you've done is more than enough and it's time to move on. So for many of you, it's focus, release, and then redirect. One final note with the Archer card, it is important that you have an active sort of focus on all of the requisite things in your business if you are an independent business person. And even if you're just a partner in a marriage and you're looking at your finances, I really want you to look at some of those details this month. You don't want to hand over legal, financial, or business decisions with respect to your life, your business, etc. this month. You have to be sort of your own manager and make sure that you have all of the answers that you need. Ask the tough questions, look at those papers that are in front of you that you haven't been looking at, some of you, your bills, or whatever it is that you need to catch up on. This month, that paperwork and that foundation is also going to give you sort of the security that you need. We talked about the wind in your sails. This would be sort of like making sure that the ship is strong so that you can take the journey that you need. All right, let's focus now on your ego. We have the Two of Cups in reverse. And what's interesting with this is that I feel like there are partnerships that are coming into your life. The question is, are you ready? And also, is it a good match for you? Because the attraction seems to be there. You even see it in the caption there. What you're looking for, many of you, is a divine partnership. It could be a friendship or a business partnership where the two of you, like this, or you're kind of cultivating and sparking one another's creative fire, but it could also be a really deep soulmate for some of you. What is important for you, though, is to see this person not as your other half, your better half, missing piece, etc. You have everything you need. What you're actually focusing on, like we saw here earlier, was clearing and cleaning your life, your energy, and really making sure that everything is good and then just kind of letting it go. What you might be surprised, though, is as you're focusing on these other things, love is knocking on the door. And for some of you, it's a really creative person or a very emotional person or perhaps a water sign. And I said, when and if love comes through in the spread, I'm going to let you know. I see it here. There is a hesitation, though, for some of you, because your outcome card is the Three of Cups, which can show that for some of you, you were looking maybe just for a friend, or maybe you're not ready for the level of commitment that's coming through. It can also be celebration because you finally found this person, but I want you to be realistic with how quickly you get into the relationship. So if someone new comes into your life, or if it's a new partnership and you're getting really gung-ho on this for business, take your time, take it slow, really feel that part of it out. This is the one part where patience is important because the person may be coming, rushing into your life, but you need to get to know them and feel confident with where you're headed on that. Looking into the environment, we have the Two of Wands. And this is really great because for some of you, you're ready now to start to, I said earlier, redirect. For me, the Two of Wands, usually you're seeing someone holding the globe in their hands, and that's them envisioning what's possible. And this one, you're showing that once you've kind of put a stake in that decision, then things start to ignite. As you can see, the fire is very much in that card. But the Two of Wands gives way to the Three of Wands, which means that within the next quarter year, you could actually start to see some movement on whatever seeds you plant this month. As we look at your hopes, fears, and opportunity, we have the Knight of Cups here. For me, Knights show movement. So when we're looking at your life, this is development in your heart space. Passion, excitement, relationships, creativity. There is movement that's going to be happening towards the middle to end of the month in that part of your life. And it happens with a sort of stealth movement. You may be surprised again at where it comes from, how quickly it happens, why it's happening. And I think the key thing here is to trust your heart, because this is all about your heart space. We have two of the same suit, a Queen and a Knight. And so this could show a love relationship. So I like to highlight that when I see it. It seems to start off very much as casual dating, and what I said earlier was to take it slow to get to know that person. So if that's the case, then that's okay, go with it. When we look at fears or just warnings with this card, there is a sort of stealth energy with this particular Knight card. We notice that it's an eel, and eels kind of work in the dark, murky waters and come out of nowhere. So when you're looking at your business, when you're looking at relationships in your life, make sure that you understand people's motives, their perspectives, what they're trying to do. This is why I want you to take it slow and make sure that you understand where you're headed. I think this is particularly true with business partners. Make sure that your creative vision is, you have enough in common. There's that Venn diagram. Are you seeing eye to eye on the important things? And when you do kind of diverge in decision or vision, is it something that you can deal with? Overall, I really love the spread for you this month, and there really isn't that many heavy cards. I want to highlight a couple things that you can focus on before we get into the expanded forecast. I do want to talk a little bit about budget and money. With the Seven of Pentacles, it's all about growth and improvement, but there is a highlighted piece there that some of you may either be focusing on or afraid of the money not being where you need it, because we have the Four of Cups right on top of that. So that's showing that your fear can actually attract some of that. Just see whatever decisions and wherever you've been sort of financially as the foundation. You've learned from that. You're not going to necessarily repeat it. I see growth coming forward for you, so embrace that. Again, with the sort of trying to control or to try to worry about, is it too fast? Is it too slow? Just trust in the momentum. I want you to imagine that you're a big ship and that the wind behind you is going to move you forward. All of that energy, all of that potential energy is the work that you've done. And again, I really like how this Chariot card is illustrated. You have exactly what it takes. You've been aiming, you've been focusing, now you just have to let go. So I think if you really look at those two things, you're going to be set up for success this month. And yes, love is something that is coming through. As we expand the forecast, we'll see what the cards have to say about that. Let's begin the expanded forecast with your health card. This is your mind, body, and spirit. All right, this card was reversed, but we need to turn it upright to read it. The poem on this is maybe not the best. If you get nervous, focus on service, but I really do like the message here. And it does go in line with what I was talking about at the center, which was that if you redirect your energy into working with others, being around other people, your perspective naturally shifts. Your some of the sort of self-critical or self-focused energy also releases, and you're able to see things from a different angle. So I totally agree with this card. And if we read the caption at the bottom, it says, I'm going to have to look at it this way. It says, put your entire intention on answering the question, how can I make the world a better place? And the law of attraction will automatically take care of your needs. So I think here what we're seeing is focus less on being nervous about, can it happen? Will it happen? Am I okay? We really need to do whatever possible this month to diffuse the Four of Cups. This is a potential block. This is what's creating the maze that I saw. If we look at the very highly meditative Nine of Cups, what it's reminding you is that you have joy, you have generosity, you have service in your life that can bring you to a higher space. And that's what this card is saying. A final note on this service card, I would say this is also a call to you to reach out for help if that's something that you need. This is in the health space. We've been talking about energetic blocks, but this is also about mental health and just general health. So if there's something going on in your life, Nine of Cups can show addiction, often addiction issues with food or with alcohol. If there's something going on with that, you're going to benefit from working with a team. So this is a great sort of activity-based thing, whether it's a fitness team, a health team, or a doctor. Lean on someone this month to help with that. And in general, it's just a good month for activities because, lo and behold, that's how you might meet someone. So try to get out of your space a little bit. And if you're not doing something for someone else, hey, the flip side is also true. Receive some healing, some love, and maybe engage in an activity that feeds you as well, okay? Let's move along now to your wealth card. Wealth is looking not just at money, but also self-worth and opportunities coming into your life. In wealth, we have a reverse card, but the message is something that we've been seeing time and again. It's power of attraction. Now, this is really speaking about your ability to raise your frequency and your thoughts to a place that you believe in yourself, you believe in the timing of things. You're not sort of too, like we said earlier, not too nervous, not too pushy, not too needy, just present and believing in the momentum. This is really a continuation of what I was talking about, having the wind behind your sails, just trusting, or that release moment. You've pulled everything into motion and you focus where you need to go. Now just trust that it's going to happen. Also, power of attraction. You are capable of calling in a divine partner, a divine partnership, even if it's a business or friendship. And so what I want you to focus on this month is really being mindful, even picky, if you will, on what kind of person that you want to be with. Again, if it's business or love, it doesn't matter, but I see someone coming in. So start to think to yourself, first of all, I'm going to do the work on myself. I want someone that has done just as much work as I have done, and then release that and think, it's going to happen. And I'm not even worried about when. I know it's going to happen. When you trust in yourself, you let that go, and then you redirect into something else. This is your key this month. Get things ready. Focus, release, next thing. Focus, release, next thing. There's a lot of things that you'll be doing just like this archer. And when you've released them, the momentum is going to take them, and it's also going to work in reverse. I talk about this sometimes. The law of attraction requires visualization, and then the dominoes come in the other direction. This month, don't be surprised if that fiery energy takes you by surprise a couple of times, because we saw the cheetah, and you may see a quicker return on your energy or your focus than you have in the past. Super exciting for this sign. I know that a lot of times Libra has been like, why is it taking so long? It won't if you start to believe that it's not taking long and it's going to be okay. And that's the big shift as well this month. There's a lot of little tiny cogs that are turning, and I think that this can be a breakthrough on multiple levels for Libra this month. Let's now move along to love. Love includes all types of relationships in your life, not just romantic ones. Not surprisingly, as we look at love, there's a continuation of the message of allowing things to go with the flow. We also have a card that is very much a water card, and I think is connected to the Queen of Vessels and potentially the Knight of Vessels as well. So at the very least, this is a very passionate month for you and a creative month. Whether you choose to put that into a new relationship or an existing relationship is up to you. But I think that there may be something coming into your life that's going to inspire you at the very least this month. And it should be fun, because this flow card shows me that it will be easy. So when you meet your next partner or partnership opportunity, this will be probably something at a social event or when you're least expecting it, because the Three of Cups is a casual card. You might be out with friends, having a cup of coffee or drinks, or just hanging out with friends and laughing. And this is when that moment comes to fruition. So just be yourself, just have fun, and don't try to orchestrate things with love this month too much. One of the final notes that I want to say before we move on to the Destiny card is that there's a lot to be happy about this month. Sometimes I look at a spread and it's all work, or there's a lot of heavy energy. There isn't for your sign this month. In fact, all of the cards seem to be pointing towards release, relaxation, having fun. So as serious and as analytical as your sign can sometimes be, this month it's really important to diffuse that normal sort of cognitive energy with joyful activities, with social interactions, with just trusting yourself as well. Get out of your headspace a little bit and get out into the world, okay? Let's go ahead now and look at the Destiny card. The Destiny card is your chance to sort of look at, am I happy with the direction that I'm headed in, or do I want to make some sort of a course correction? Whenever I see this card, it's really a call for transparency, honesty, and really, I would say the antithesis of this card would be the Star. Because for me, the Star really embodies being who you are, trusting that other people are going to love that, and standing in your power. You notice that this particular jester, or this liar, is holding a mask. The only thing that can bring you off your path this month is if you are not being authentic to who you are, what you want to be, or how you feel. And that's the warning in Destiny this month, is that you've got so much that is aligning you to your own success. You could get in your own way by simply disbelieving in the work that you've done, or by trying to portray something that isn't truly you. So if it's time to move on, if you're not happy, if there's something going on where you need to speak up, use your words, use your voice. You're strong at that. You're also very able to balance things out. And I didn't see anything in the overall spread that would make me worried about how that would pan out. It feels like you're okay. You can manage it this month. So be true to who you are, and that truth, that honesty, and that transparency will protect you. And even if along the way you lose someone, they weren't truly who you thought they were. You get to see their true colors. And that's the other piece of this card. If somebody reveals their true self and it doesn't sit with you very well, then it's time to move on. This card is right next to the Three of Cups, which can show gossip, or it can show word of mouth, something getting back to you. If that happens, then again, consider yourself blessed. For some of you, this could be the Knight of Cups that we saw here. And something happens, you learn about something, it kind of comes through as tricky. Well, then you know that you can't trust that person. I did sense that there was at least one person in the overall spread that you needed to get to know a little bit more. So if you're interviewing people for a job, if you're looking for potential partners, or if there's people coming into your life this month, just get to know them. There's something going on with one of them that requires a little bit more investigation. It's going to come out. I see it here, so don't worry about it. Just keep your eyes open, your ears open, and trust your heart, and you're going to be fine. Let's go ahead now and review everything, and then I'll leave you with the final word. Your channeled message this month was all about moving away from a constructed block and realizing that once you shift or regain your perspective, anything is possible. And as we looked at the catalyst, there was a message that time can bend and warp based on your own perceptions. So know that sometimes you'll be catching up, sometimes it will require a little bit more patience on your part, but you're never out of control. You just have to go with the flow, and that's something that we saw here with love as well. Allowing for that to come through and knowing that it's going to be okay, that trust is what's going to allow you to really get to a comfortable place. Nine of Cups this month is actually speaking to your gratitude, your generosity, your service, being able to sort of look at life and be grateful for everything that's there. Not to be overwhelmed, and to really take the energy to a higher place. That's what's key. The only thing that can get in your way is overthinking and possibly missing an opportunity by doing that. Remember to stay elevated in your thoughts, to keep that perspective, and allow yourself the flexibility to flow and move where you need to. Looking at the deep past, not much to say except that you've done some good work in building a voice or a community that really cares about what you're saying and what you're doing. Use that strong voice or use that social footprint this month to make things happen. You have a story, people want to hear it. For some of you, you can use that to your advantage. The first thing that you have to do this month, if you're wanting to deepen your intuition or move down a healing path or just attract the proper partner, is to do some requisite healing on yourself. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and it actually calls out healing as part of that. So treat yourself to whatever type of healing your body, your mind, or your spirit needs. Whenever it comes to finances, I think that you're actually headed on a better track. You've learned from the past, you're doing better. Just keep steady with those lessons. Yes, there might be some things that you want to do better, but now is the time to make the decisions that will allow for that. We have the Queen of Cups in the crowning position. We also have a Knight of Cups in possibilities. This is showing an expansion of creativity, of love. The heart space wants to expand this month. You can either use that to date and focus on relationships, or you can use this for some other sort of business endeavor where you're just using your creativity. Stay focused this month, but at a certain point, it's important to just let go. That's what the Archer is reminding you. And then let that momentum, that wind beneath your sails, trust in the momentum and do not doubt it. As we look in the ego, love and partnerships are front and center. The question is, how do you feel about them? Is it a worthy investment of your time and energy? And also, have you done sort of the work on yourself to make sure that you're calling in a partner and not necessarily a teacher that's going to teach you lessons that you need to learn about yourself? When you really are at that place where all of the healing has been done, then the partner that comes through is there just to support and cheer you on, and that's the kind of elevated partner that I think most of us are looking for. Be really decisive this month and envision positive strides in the future, and that's what the Two of Wands is saying. And when you have that, then you're going to start to notice that things pick up faster than you might imagine. Again, movement happening with love and relationships. I do want you to be a little bit of an investigator, particularly when it comes to business, or if there's someone that you don't know, they may show a side that you need to understand. Also pay attention to what happens if you hear something about someone. Make sure that it's not gossip, because this could just show that what you're hearing doesn't have any sort of basis in reality. It could also be something that you need to confront the person about and just say, hey, I heard this, let's talk about it, and this is important for you to resolve. When we expand the forecast here, health is about really getting out. That's the main thing that I see with focusing on service. But you could also benefit from engaging in group activities, whether it's just for fun or it might be to improve your health and well-being. When we look at wealth, it's all about the power of attraction. So when you have the vision and believe in yourself, when you've done the required work and you've learned lessons from your mistakes, you're going to be able to attract positivity in the future because you believe in yourself. You believe that it can happen faster than you thought it could, and then it does. When we look at love and relationships, the important thing is just to honor flow. Don't force things. If this love opportunity is meant to happen, it will. If the partnership feels good, then it will happen. And if something falls away, then it's also meant to be. There is a natural flow going in with your relationships that's either going to bring something in or clear something out. And the Liar card is really speaking about being transparent, being honest, and realizing that as long as you're truthful with yourself, as long as you embody the energy of the star, then you're never really going to be taken off path. You have to trust that people will love you, accept you, and see you for all of the beautiful things that you see yourself for as well. And if that lens hasn't been cleared, and if you can't love yourself, then that's the first and most important thing that you can do this month to be successful, to be happy, and to bring you on the right trajectory. So that brings your monthly reading to a close, and what a powerful reading it was today. Sometimes they really do contain an amazing amount of energy. This one has a lot of shifting for you, and it's shifting into an exciting place. I really like the idea that the movement can happen faster than you think, and I really do feel that energy of letting go, that you've done everything that you needed to pull certain things into creation this month. Let me pause for a second because I'm getting ahead of myself and giving you the final word before we've wrapped up. One thing that I'd like to highlight before we do that is, first of all, if you ever want to talk a little bit more about something that we discussed today here in this general reading, you can reach out to me. The first card in the video and the first link will allow you to connect with my booking site. You can check rates and availability there, and if it makes sense, I look forward to talking to you. The second card and the second link, it's really important. This is what I was talking about at the beginning. If you like all of the time and energy that I put into these readings and you want to just say thank you, you can become a patron. And this is as easy as doing a one-time donation if you'd like to, as little as $1 if that makes sense. Or if you'd like to make a bigger difference, you can join me on Patreon and do a sort of sustaining donation of maybe $1 or $5 or $10. And you can change that at any point, up or down the scale, or cancel it. So it's a really flexible system that allows you to give as much as you'd like for as long as you'd like. And it really makes a difference in my schedule, because what it does is it allows for me to basically book time on my calendar to do the readings. So I'd just like to say thank you in advance if this is something that you feel like doing, and if you've done it before, you made today possible, so I dedicate this video to you. Finally, if you click on the third card or the third link below the video, this will take you to a page where you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also my newsletter. And what's really powerful about this is that in addition to liking and subscribing, what you can do with this is to advocate for the channel. Share it with friends and family and help me build this connection of light workers that I really want to make on this planet. For all of you that have done that, thank you so much. And if you are considering doing that today, again, click on that third card and you'll be able to do that. Let's now continue what I was talking about in your final word, which is that your thoughts really are able to shape your reality. What this is really called is manifestation, and you have the power to do that, particularly with respect to speed and partnerships this month. So stay open to things happening with greater ease and greater speed than they have before, and start to see the right, quote unquote, right kind of people coming into your life. The interesting sort of footnote with that is that you're going to also become the right kind of person, which means that you're going to heal yourself, take care of yourself, and honor all of the lessons that you've learned and not beat yourself up over that, because everything brought you to today, brought you to this reading, in fact, and I want you to know that you're on the right path. Wishing you love, light, and hopefully much abundance in the future as well. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for spending time with me. You've got a lot of choices in life and also here on YouTube, so I'm humbled and honored that you chose to spend it with me. Until next time, take care.